Hi there, Fiona Pearman and Kate Borer. And this week we're wrapping up our series on taking action. We've talked about what gets in the way, and this week we want to delve into how to take that action even when it feels a bit hard. And on one level, it sounds ridiculous. Like, I've just got to do something. I've just got to step up, take action, do something different. And yet, in every single program we run, whether it's in-house in organizations or with our Acts of Confidence program, this is the thing that women find so hard. There's a lot going on. We talked about that last week in terms of what holds us back. But what we want to do this week is give you some guidelines around ways in which you can take action. I'm going to start with reframing the notion of what action is, because that seems to be the stumbling block. The idea that I need to do something feels almost like I need to get it right, I need to get it perfect. There's almost a performance aspect to taking action. And underneath it, often there's a proving yourself energy. And none of that is going to feel good. None of that's going to make action taking easy. So, what we want you to think about is think of taking action as I'm going to get some more intel. I'm going to understand more. I'm going to experiment now. I'm going to take a small risk and see what happens as a result. Because what we know is once we start practicing, once we start doing this, we create evidence. And the evidence means that I'm more likely to take another action.
Yeah, I'd want to catch here the reframe around action is the expectation you have of yourself, right? That's the critical piece. Instead of expecting myself to get it perfect, instead of expecting it to be right, I'm expecting some more information than I currently have, right? And so it lowers the expectations on ourselves. Because of that, it lowers the risk, it makes it safer, it makes it easy to take action. So this reframe is really powerful. Number two is chunk it down. I think we too often have big, lofty goals. We're always encouraging people to set really clear, specific, smart, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-framed goals at the risk of getting smart on you. But to then be able to chunk it down into small bite-sized steps. So instead of, I'm going to pivot careers and go into a different industry, step one is I'm going to reach out and find two people I have a conversation who I can have a conversation with that work in that industry. In fact, I was just working with someone right then who has really clear on the sort of goal that they want, and it's a big aspirational goal. And step one is reach out and find two people who are currently doing that role, and have a conversation with them to get more information. Instead of being more visible with a stakeholder, you know, take action around, I'm going to speak up in one particular meeting around one particular context. The focus here is on small, safe steps. And it's on taking small, low stakes, safe acts of confidence, one of the critical philosophies of the Acts of Confidence program, in a consistent way.
And when we do this, when we start taking those actions regularly, number three starts to happen. We build self-trust. We've done a lot of work on this, and it's one of the things that is definitely holding women back from achieving their potential because we just don't trust ourselves enough. And so every time you're willing to take an action, you prove to yourself, firstly, that you can handle some discomfort. We are far too oriented, in my opinion, towards comfort. So being able to handle some discomfort it's an important leadership capability. You start to right size the story. Once we take action and we see what happens, we get some more intel. Well, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It wasn't as dangerous or as risky. We have more resilience. Everywhere we're working at the moment, people are talking about burnout, about being exhausted, about being overwhelmed. By taking action, we remove a whole lot of overthinking and we then have more resilience. And as we do this, we're strengthening all the time our capability and capacity. And all of these things mean we're going to trust ourselves so much more for the next action step.
Number four is about creating accountability, something I really love because I know for me it is a huge asset when it comes to taking action and to doing what I say I'm going to do, especially when I don't feel like it, or I feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's a critical part of design in every program we run, whether it's in organizations or in our in the Public Acts of Confidence program. But having supporters around you who you're going to show up and you're going to talk to, and who you're sort of announcing your commitments and your action steps to, and who going to sit opposite in a conversation in a week's time, and they're going to ask you whether you took that action. That mirror we see time and time again is so powerful in terms of how it changes behavior, decisions, actions in individuals, not in a judgmental, uncomfortable way, but in a, you know what, I really want to be proud of myself. I want to show up and honor the words I said and the commitments I made, and I want to achieve and move forward and make progress. And I want to share that progress with my buddy group or my community or my mentor. And so just that third independent person who is going to hold you accountable, like I said, in a safe, gentle way. But in so many different ways and contexts, we have seen this be incredibly powerful. We had one of our AOC alumni talked about the fact that she knew she would be showing up and debriefing on a Friday with her buddy group. And so in meetings on Mondays, when she was feeling maybe a little bit uncomfortable about speaking up or contributing, she knew that she could either share on the Friday that she kind of contracted and backed out, or she could say, but I took action anyway. Even though I felt I was at a 6 or a 7 out of confidence, I took action anyway. And so these dynamics of, human behavior, human interaction are so powerful, especially if things like integrity are high on your values. We start to understand how we're wired and use these dynamics to support us to put good tension and to really leverage us to do the things that we know are important, but in moments where we're maybe not feeling resourced or maybe feeling a little bit activated, we can easily kind of shrink back and stay small.
Yeah, and I think bringing it together, and the final one here, number 5, is all about celebrating the evidence of what you've gained, of looking back and reflecting and understanding, I know so much more now. I have this. Not trying to go for perfection, letting go of that idea that I need to get it right or perfect the first time. Once we start to capture that new intel, to appreciate the knowledge we've gained, we may have had a bit of a win. There may be some success. Maybe it didn't go so well, but we've learned something new, which means we'll do it differently next time. The moment we celebrate, when we were brave enough to speak up, when we offered an opinion, when we challenged something, even though it felt uncomfortable, when we leaned into that discomfort, that was an achievement. That's something worth celebrating. We know that if this feels uncomfortable at first, we know you're not going to get it perfect, and plenty of experiments of ourselves trying to do this. And so celebrating the action steps, celebrating even the things that didn't go well, what you learned, the fact that you were more visible, the feedback maybe you've got, even if the feedback was mixed, it's still more intel than you would have had you not taken action. And as Kate said, the encouragement of others, like supporting each other through this, reflect on that and celebrate that, because we know that the path forward, the progression that you want, the goals you want to achieve, all of that is possible on the other side of taking those actions before you feel ready.
We're going to leave it there. If you've enjoyed today's confidence conversation, we'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you know someone in your world who could benefit from taking a little bit more action, we'd love for you to share this video with them. If you'd like to see more of these confidence conversations and also hear from some of our Acts of Confidence alumni who share their story of their program transformation, head over to our YouTube channel. Over 400 videos and over 60 client stories on that channel. And do us a favor, hit subscribe while you're there and you'll get notified of all of our new videos. And if and when you are ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au. Thanks for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit subscribe on your YouTube channel for more insights on confidence, leadership, and complex work environments. We drop new videos regularly and we'd love to share them with you.